Because I'm telling you, you cannot have both. You cannot tiptoe through your destiny trying to make sure everybody's feelings are okay. Your destiny is too big for you to be walking on eggshells. Think about every major decision you need to make to get where you're going. Starting that business might upset your family, who think you should keep that safe job. Going back to school might make your friends feel like you think you're better than them. Moving to a new city for that opportunity might hurt people who want you to stay close. Changing your lifestyle might make your old crew feel abandoned. Here's what I know for sure. Every level of your life is going to require a different you. And not everybody's going to like the new you. Some people fell in love with your struggle. Some people were comfortable with the old version of you. Some people benefited from you staying small. So when you start growing, when you start evolving, when you start becoming who you're meant to be, it makes them uncomfortable. But you've got to ask yourself a serious question. Whose life am I living? Am I living for their approval? Or am I living for my purpose? Am I here to make them comfortable? Or am I here to fulfill a calling? Am I supposed to shrink so they can feel tall? Or am I supposed to rise so I can reach my full potential? You cannot spend your whole life trying to get a standing ovation from people who are determined to stay seated. I've watched people sacrifice their dreams on the altar of other people's opinions. I've seen talented people stay stuck because they didn't want to disappoint somebody. I've witnessed gifted individuals play small their entire lives because they were addicted to being liked. And you know what happens? They wake up at 60, 70 years old, full of regret, full of what ifs, full of I wish I had, and all because they chose temporary approval over permanent purpose. The people who are meant to be in your life will support your growth. The right people will celebrate your evolution. The people who truly love you will want you to win, even if it means you outgrow certain spaces. But the people who are only there for what they can get from you, the people who only liked you when you were beneficial to them, the people who can't handle your growth, those people were never your people to begin with. So stop holding yourself hostage to their expectations. Stop dimming your light so they won't need sunglasses. Stop playing small so they won't feel inadequate. Your job is not to make everyone happy. Your job is to become everything you were created to be. And if that makes some people uncomfortable, if that costs you some relationships, if that means you have to walk some roads alone, then so be it. Your destiny is worth more than their approval. Your purpose is bigger than their perception. Your future is more important than their feelings. The people who hate you the most are probably sitting at your dinner table. They're in your family group chat. They're your homeboys from high school who are still doing the same thing they were doing 10 years ago. Why? Because your growth reminds them of their stagnation. Your courage reminds them of their fear. Your action reminds them of their excuses. See, when you're in the same boat with everybody, when you're all struggling together, when you're all stuck together, there's a strange comfort in that. There's a camaraderie in shared struggle. But the moment you grab an oar and start rowing towards something better, the moment you stand up in that boat and say, I'm going for more, you become a mirror that reflects to them everything they're not doing. This is why your cousin, whom you grew up with, suddenly has a problem with you. This is why your best friend from college is now acting funny towards you. This is why your siblings are making sarcastic comments about your ambitions. It's not really about you. It's about what you represent. You represent possibility. You represent what could be. You represent the fact that change is possible, growth is achievable, and better is available. And that's threatening to people who have made peace with settling. That's uncomfortable for people who have convinced themselves that where they are is as good as it gets. That's painful for people who have been making excuses for why they can't do more, be more, have more. Your movement toward your dreams is an indictment of their decision to stay stuck, not because you're judging them, but because your actions are speaking louder than any words ever could. The sad reality is that some of your family members don't want you to succeed beyond their level of success. Some of your friends don't want you to heal beyond their level of healing. Some of the people in your circle don't want you to grow beyond their level of growth. Not because they're evil people, but because they're insecure people. They're afraid that if you level up, you'll leave them behind. They're worried that if you change, the relationship will change. They're scared that if you become more, they'll become less significant in your life. So they'll disguise their hate as concern. They'll package their jealousy as care. They'll dress up their insecurity as advice. Be careful, they'll say. Don't you think you're moving too fast? What if it doesn't work out? You're not being realistic. You're changing. Remember where you came from. And all of that sounds like love, sounds like protection, sounds like wisdom. But really, it's fear talking. It's insecurity speaking. It's their own limitations trying to become your limitations. You have to develop the discernment to recognize when someone is protecting you versus when someone is projecting on you. Protection says, I'm concerned about your well-being, but I support your vision. Projection says, you can't do that because I couldn't do it. Protection says, let me help you think this through. Projection says you need to stop dreaming and be realistic. Protection celebrates your wins. Projection finds something wrong with every victory. I want you to write this down. What other people think about me is none of my business. Read that again. Their opinion doesn't pay your bills. Their opinion doesn't tuck your kids in at night. Their opinion doesn't wake up in your body tomorrow morning. So why are you giving it so much power? Stop checking for their approval like it's your bank account balance. Stop refreshing your life waiting for their validation. Stop measuring your worth by their words. You've given strangers, coworkers, family members, people who don't even have their own lives together, you've given them the power to determine how you feel about yourself. You've handed them the remote control to your emotions. They say something negative and you're down for 3 days. They compliment you and you're up for 3 hours. You're on an emotional roller coaster and they're the ones controlling the ride. Here's what you need to understand. Most people's opinions are based on their limitations, not your potential. They're judging your future based on their past. They're measuring your possibilities by their probabilities. They're evaluating your dreams through the lens of their doubts. So their opinion is not even about you. It's about them. It's a reflection of what they believe is possible based on what they've experienced, what they've achieved, and what they've had the courage to pursue. When someone tells you it can't be done, they're really saying I couldn't do it. When someone says you're crazy for trying, they're really saying I'm too afraid to try. When someone questions your ability to succeed, they're really revealing their own self-doubt. So why are you taking personally what was never about you in the first place? Why are you internalizing their limitations? Why are you allowing their ceiling to become your floor? You've got to develop a healthy indifference to the opinions of others. Not arrogance, but confidence. Not pride, but peace. You've got to get to a place where you're so secure in who you are, so clear about where you're going, so confident in what you're building. That outside noise doesn't penetrate your inner peace. You hear it, but you don't receive it. You see it, but you don't internalize it. You acknowledge it, but you don't accept it as truth. The question you should be asking is not what they think, but what I know. What do I know about my gifts? What do I know about my calling? What do I know about my work ethic? What do I know about my faith? What do I know about where I'm going? Because what you know about yourself should always be louder than what they say about you. Your inner truth should always outweigh their outer criticism. Think about how much time and energy you've wasted worrying about what people think. Think about how many decisions you didn't make because you were afraid of judgment. Think about how many opportunities you let pass by because you were concerned about criticism. Think about how many dreams you put on hold because you were waiting for unanimous approval. That's time you can't get back. That's energy you can't recover. That's opportunities that may not come around again. And all of it was sacrificed at the altar of other people's opinions. Show me someone with no haters, and I'll show you someone who ain't doing nothing. Nobody throws rocks at a tree that ain't got no fruit on it. Think about it. People are throwing rocks because they see something growing in your life that they want. They see fruit they can't reach in their own life. So when they throw rocks, you just use them to build your foundation. Every criticism, every hateful comment, every doubt, every negative word, those are just rocks. And you're a builder. Builders don't cry over rocks. Builders use rocks. Builders take those hard, heavy things that were meant to hurt them, and they create something solid, something lasting, something that can hold weight. Look at anyone who's accomplished anything significant. Look at any business that's thriving. Look at any person who's made an impact. Look at any movement that's changed things. They all have one thing in common: haters, critics, people who said it wouldn't work, people who predicted failure, people who threw rocks. But those successful people didn't stop and argue with every rock thrower. They didn't pause their progress to prove their point. They kept building. Here's what unsuccessful people do. They avoid anything that might bring criticism. They play it so safe that they never risk being talked about. They stay so small that they never attract attention. They live so quietly that they never disturb anyone. And you know what they get for all that careful living? Nothing. They get a life of quiet desperation. They get a resume of almost. They get a highlight reel of what could have been. But successful people understand that criticism is tuition. It's the price you pay for playing big. It's the cost of admission to greatness. You want an extraordinary life, you're going to get extraordinary criticism. You want uncommon success, you're going to get uncommon hate. You want to do something that's never been done, you're going to hear from people who've never done anything. That's just how it works. The difference is that successful people don't let hate stop them. They let it fuel them. Every person who said they couldn't become a name on the list of people to prove wrong, every doubt becomes motivation. Every criticism becomes determination. They take that negative energy and they convert it into positive action. They take that hate and they transform it into hustle. They take those rocks and they build empires. So if you've got haters, congratulations, you're on the right track. If people are talking about you, good, that means you're doing something worth talking about. If you're being criticized, excellent, that means you're visible. The only way to avoid criticism is to do nothing, say nothing, and be nothing. And I know that's not you. I know you were created for more than that. I know you've got purpose running through your veins. So accept the haters as confirmation that you're living out loud. Accept the criticism as proof that you're making moves. Accept the rocks as building materials for the empire you're constructing. Here's what separates the champions from the chumps: how you respond to the hate. You can either let it stop you, or you can let it fuel you. You can either argue with everybody who has something negative to say, or you can channel that energy into proving them wrong through your success. Stop clapping back on social media and start cashing checks in real life. See, this is where people mess up. Someone says something negative, and they spend the next 3 hours crafting the perfect response. They lose sleep thinking about what they should have said. They waste energy arguing with people who don't even matter. They give away their power, their peace, their focus, all to prove a point to someone who's probably not even thinking about them anymore. Your response reveals your maturity. Your response reveals your focus. Your response reveals what you're really made of. Anybody can argue. Anybody can clap back. Anybody can get their feelings and react. But it takes a different level of discipline, a different level of maturity, a different level of vision to stay focused when people are throwing shots. It takes strength to ignore the noise and keep building. It takes wisdom to save your energy for your elevation instead of wasting it on explanation. Every minute you spend responding to a hater is a minute you're not spending building your dream. Every hour you spend arguing online is an hour you're not spending working on your craft. Every day you spend mad about what they said is a day you're not spending glad about where you're going. You're letting them control your schedule. You're letting them dictate your emotions. You're letting them steal your momentum. And for what? To prove you're right, to get the last word, to defend yourself against people who are committed to misunderstanding you. Here's a truth that'll set you free. You cannot argue your way to success. You cannot clap back your way to the top. You cannot defend your way to destiny. The only response that matters is results. The only answer that counts is achievement. The only comeback that works is success. When you win, when you succeed, when you accomplish what they said was impossible, that speaks louder than any argument you could ever make. Think about it like this. If you're climbing a mountain and someone at the bottom yells, "You can't make it," do you climb back down to argue with them? Or do you keep climbing and wave at them from the top? If you're running a race and someone in the stands says you're too slow, do you stop running to defend your pace? Or do you cross the finish line and let your time speak for itself? The answer is obvious when we put it like that, but somehow when we're in the moment, we forget. Your altitude, your height, and your level of success are directly connected to your response to criticism. Low-level people give low-level responses. They argue, they fight, they defend, they explain, they waste energy on people who don't matter. But high-level people give high-level responses. They focus, they build, they create, they achieve. They channel that negative energy into positive results. They turn hate into motivation and criticism into fuel. That's the